Well, what's going on, everybody? Good morning, and I hope you're having a really good day. I know that I'm having a nice start to it coming off of last night. It is Victory Tuesday for us here in Broncos country, but of course, that's a topic for a whole nother video. And really, what I want to get into is stuff I wanted to talk about yesterday. Of course, it just didn't work out that way, but this is actually regarding Survivor Series, mostly stuff from the post show, and I want to talk specifically about Big E. Now, of course, this is based on things that happened last night on Monday Night Raw, which I'll talk about in another video coming later today. But it's just really interesting for me watching Big E during the post show. It just seemed like something was a little, I can't say off, but it was a bit unusual with his behavior. I mean, sure, he was still his normal, energetic, enthusiastic self, as we all know Big E to be. And, of course, that's just not taking anything away from any of his contributions, but, it's just really interesting that he seemed a little different in a lot of ways, and I really couldn't put my finger on it, and I guess it didn't really hit me until, I don't know, maybe as I was getting up this morning, but it seemed kind of like and maybe I'm overthinking this a bit, it seemed as though he was knowing what was coming this from last night's episode of Raw, when, of course, the New Day in Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods actually removed him from New Day, and just something that I think was kind of anticipated for some time. It was really odd, the direction that they were going. It felt more like there was going to be a split between Kofi and Xavier, but that wasn't the case, and I'm not sure if that was because of the fact that was Big E that was bracing himself for that, or whatever it may be, but I think we're getting an awful lot with this storytelling here. I would also like to think that maybe there's a little bit of nervousness there for another reason in particular. Maybe we might be getting the comeback that we've all been longing for. I mean, it's been talked about for months upon months, pretty much the last couple of years now, since we've last seen him actively performing on TV, when he was injured, unfortunately, at the hands of Ridge Holland. That was just circumstances that just fall out of people's control and everything. But at the end of the day, I look forward to hopefully seeing a Big E return, in-ring return, and it's going to be pretty fun. I'd like to see him build off of everything he was able to accomplish. Former Intercontinental Champion, former WWE Champion, and, I'd like to think there's still some gas in the tank and he's able to get healthy enough to where he can get back at it. But nonetheless, we're going to move right along to talking about Triple H, specifically the WWE ID program, which he actually gave more clarification during his part of the press conference during said post-show. And of course he says, financially we're going to support them in their careers from an education standpoint as they are going through their journey. As long as they are continuing to progress, we stay with them. They send us their matches, we're helping to guide them with what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, how they can progress, and how we can make them pros. And with that in mind, I got to applaud that for a variety of reasons, but more than anything else, this is something that we needed 10, 15, 20, just years and years ago in general. And now that we've gotten a clarification on this is really good to see, and people like Kylie Ray have actually benefited from this. She's actually made several posts on Twitter, about her experiences through the WWE ID program, and I think it's a phenomenal thing. It's one thing that they're doing. It would be cool that if AEW were to follow in their footsteps, like, just from the perspective of, if AEW is going to do anything to copycat WWE, this is the way they want to do it. They want to follow in everything that Triple H talked about in the presser, everything. Just for example, the start of the Women's Intercontinental Tournament, the triple threat with Shayna Baszler, I believe it was Katana Chance and Shayna Baszler, and of course Dakota was victorious in that. But just the time that was put into it, the psychology that was put into the matches, and even Dakota, after she had won the match, said an awful lot as far as where not only the women's division is going, but what we could have been getting out of it this whole time. But I just imagine it's going to be getting better. I'm looking for Dakota Kai hopefully to win said Women's Intercontinental title. But focusing more on the WWE ID program itself, it's just really, really refreshing to see that this is something that we have in 2024, and it's really, really amazing. It's amazing because we've also got everything that's connected with the NIL program, and I would like to think one way or another it's just only going to get better and better from here with this, and it's just really happy to hear the things that he talked about with that. I just can't wait to see where it goes from here. But with that in mind, we're going to go ahead to the capper of the actual night of Survivor Series, which of course was War Games, a Bloodline Civil War, and of course the victors being Team OG Bloodline featuring CM Punk, which I'm not sure if anybody thought to word it like that, but either way, this was actually really, really cool to see. I think that everything was put into place exactly how they needed to be, from the aspect of the storytelling, of course coming into Survivor Series, the agreement between Punk and Heyman as far as a favor down the road, and of course according to Punk, as far as that favor is concerned, it seems as though it might wind up involving the World Heavyweight title, or perhaps even the WWE title itself. But either way, just everything that went into it, from Sami Zayn and where it picked up from him having his match with Seth frickin' Rollins on Raw, it just was just very, very well done. And I don't talk about any of these things specifically to take away from the rest of the show. The rest of the show was good. There were aspects of it that could have been better, especially with the women's War Games. I think that just a little bit more build into it would have helped. And one thing that you got to take away from a positive with that also is the fact that you actually have some build coming from this with the Jade Cargill injury, which is really, really unfortunate. Best wishes to her, and hopes for speedy recovery. But I think there were a lot of things that were done well. The World Heavyweight Championship match with Damian Priest and Gunther, Intercontinental Championship match with the Triple Threat, Ludwig Kaiser, Sheamus, and Braun Breaker, and even the U.S. title match where Shinsuke Nakamura is now the U.S. Heavyweight Champion. I gotta say, a lot of things that I enjoyed about it. Could things have been a little bit better? Sure, but I think what they're doing is actually really, really smart, and it's just incredible the way that they're just expanding upon all the things that they've been doing from week to week, month to month, and hell, even year to year when you think about the Bloodline storyline. And it's going to be interesting to see where all that goes, especially based on the favor that Punk's going to cash in on from Paul Heyman. So, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. What are y'all looking forward to most with this? For me, I look forward to this being, again, something that Tony Khan and AEW can actually learn from. And if they're going to copycat, this is the proper way to do it. But nonetheless, with that in mind, I just want to say, if nothing else, best is yet to come with wrestling. I don't know. I guess I'm just really, really hyped. But again, y'all know what it is. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think down below. And of course, this has been your time with A&J, and I thank you for spending it with me.